You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Also representing my second channel for ladies only, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Big ups to everyone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload all of my Diddy series on both channels because I realized that even when I try to share with my Mocha's Ladies Lounge for them to view over here, some people are just more comfortable in their space, and I'm gonna respect that. So just to make sure everybody is in on the loop on this series, I'm just going to upload both of these on both channels. My Mocha's Cafe de Paris, my co-ed channel for men and women, and my Mocha's Ladies Lounge. So if you haven't already, please just go ahead and hit the like button, because as y'all already know, I'm going to deliver. I'm always giving content from a spiritual perspective. And I think it's important that we have to be woke to what is really spiritually going on in these YouTube streets, right? So anyway, shout out to everybody. I appreciate all my A1s from day ones. Thank you to all my Mocha's Cafe de Paris co-ed subscribers. Big ups to all of my subscribers with my Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Some of y'all have not been getting my notifications, and I understand that. Maybe because I have not been uploading, that's probably why my videos haven't been pushed through the algorithm. So I wish just that you unsubscribe and then resubscribe again, just to refresh your subscription in case you haven't been getting notified. And also check out my community tab as well, because usually I'll put on there in the event I've uploaded something. So let's get into it, right? So as I already told you, I'm going to have to break this up into parts because it's just way too much going on with Diddy to squeeze it all in on one upload, right? So if you haven't checked it out already, I did it Diddy's the Industry's Devil Part 1 yesterday. I have it uploaded on both channels, okay? So definitely check that out first before you view this Part 2, so you won't be lost in the sauce. View Part 1, then come back and continue to view Part 2, so that way you will be in on the loop. So I left off yesterday basically doing this 3-part series as far as people. You have the Diddy defenders, you have the Bunky Oil bandits, and you have some of the male identified sisters or whatever who really think that Diddy is free. A lot of people really think he is free, and I don't know why they think he's free, because he still has 2 charges up against him. So he wasn't acquitted on all charges, okay? He was acquitted on the major charges, but these other 2 charges with prostitution is just as serious, okay? But this is what y'all have to understand, and like I said yesterday, is more to this than what meets the eye. Diddy's legacy is going to be forever tainted. His name is not going to be the same. So while y'all around here rejoicing, while y'all around here capping and doing the most and disrespecting other content creators, while you have black men disrespecting black women because they look at Diddy as their Lord and Savior, and while you have a lot of these females who's capping for Diddy as well, they're not woke into understanding that there's still so much Diddy has yet to conquer. As I stated yesterday, he might have won the battle, but he got a whole war. He has a whole army against him. Okay? So regardless of the outcome legally, the scandal already demolished the parts of his legacy that his money can't fix, So we're going to go into why this scandal, this all this controversy surrounding him is definitely going to cost him his future and his legacy, okay? So let me get into these elements, right? First one is trust is everything in business. In industries like entertainment, where partnerships, deals, and reputations are built on trust, being exposed in such a way can be career-ending. Business is about collaboration, and when people feel like your actions are the things that are hidden beneath the surface can jeopardize their own image, they'll hesitate to partner with you. This might be even more true for people who aren't already on his side to begin with. In this case, it's not just about having the financial backing, connections, or skills. It's about being able to trust someone to deliver on promises, keep things quiet when needed, and uphold their reputation. Once secrets are exposed, no one wants to risk their own standing by being associated with someone who's seen as unstable, controversial, or worse, deceptive. Who is going to want to go into partnership with Diddy after that video that went viral of him beating on Cassie? Okay, we know he didn't get charged for it. Absolutely. But the problem is it went viral. No business, no real business, no real brand is going to want to be associated with a woman beater. No brand is not going to want to be associated with a freak-off king. It's too much controversy surrounding him. And as I stated before, you already had people backing up from him when the video went viral before the feds even came to arrest him. And the irony is, once he got acquitted of 3 out of the 2 charges, a lot of the same people who were showing empathy and sympathy for Cassie, now those are the ones that are bashing her. Because now allegedly one of the escorts are suing her and Diddy. How far he's going to get, I don't know. And as I stated, that's why I indicated that Diddy's troubles are just beginning. You think the lawsuits are going to stop? Absolutely not. You think people are going to stop exposing more of his dirt? Absolutely not. You think the feds are going to rest peacefully and say, okay, well, you know, he did get 2 out of 3. We're going to let it go and just move on. The feds do not like to be conquered. And because Diddy has done so much, it's not going to take much for them to dig up more information on him. So keep in mind, Diddy is a mogul. He's a brand. The reason Diddy has been able to live successfully all of these years, and the reason he's been able to live lavishly, has everything to do with being associated to other businesses. Let's face it, Bad Boy record label within itself ain't been hitting on nothing like that. Artists aren't making music like they used to. They're not. And I always questioned that anyway. That's why I always kind of felt like I wouldn't be surprised if he did allegedly had sex trafficking and prostitution and all of that going on, because I know he's not making all of his money off of just Bad Boy alone. Granted, you know, he had all these major partnerships before his reputation got tarnished, with the liquor brand and all of these, you know, upper echelon. But the thing is, in many instances, a lot of these celebrities, they start indulging in illegal activities to be able to continue to keep receiving revenue. Because let's face it, sex trafficking, that's where the money's at. It's a lot of money in that. It's a lot of money in prostitution. It's a lot of money in selling drugs. It's a lot of money. Once a lot of these, individuals get used to making a certain amount of money and living a certain type of lifestyle, and they see that the revenue from being a music CEO and all of that is not hitting, because the music industry is just not making money like that. You got a few artists that are doing phenomenally well, but for the most part, there's no money in that. So what ends up happening is a lot of these these music moguls and entrepreneurs, they have to start earning revenue in other ways to continue keeping that lifestyle lavish. And along with that comes greed. You start losing your morals when you realize the money is not hitting like it used to, and you don't want to lose your mansion, you don't want to lose your Phantoms, your Porsche, your Lamborghinis. So now you have to indulge in other activities that may not be legal in order to continue to sustain that lifestyle. But nevertheless, back to my point, I'm digressing. Once secrets are exposed, nobody wants to be associated with you. The Diddy we know now, the woman beater, the freak off king, nobody wants to be associated with that. It has nothing to do with his charges. And trust when I say, image is everything, especially when it comes to celebrities. They don't buy expensive outfits for nothing. They don't live in expensive houses for nothing. They don't wear the top of the line for nothing. Your image is your brand. Your brand is your image. So because of all the controversy surrounding him, it's not too many people that's going to do business with him. They're just not going to do it. He barely has people rocking with him now. No brand is coming out to support him and defend him and say, hey, all jokes aside, I know this is not a good look for Diddy, but he was a good business partner. He did make good on his deals. He did make good on doing what was required of him. None of these brands are going to come to his aid and give any opinion to back him up. Let's say if he really was a good business partner, may not be a good boyfriend, he may not be a good husband, he may not be in that area, but let's say business wise, let's say he was credible in that. At this point, nobody cares because his image is smudged, is damaged. So no corporation, no businesses, no companies, nobody in the entertainment industry. That's why Jay-Z is hiding out. That's why Mary J. Blige is hiding out. That's why Total, that's why all these people that used to rock with Diddy is hiding out. Nobody wants to be associated with that level of controversy. Next is perception over reality. Even if Diddy were to clear his name or the legal case turns out in his favor, public perception will still linger. People remember the scandal, the rumors, and the visual image of him being locked up, possibly losing control of everything in the business world, especially in entertainment and fashion. Image is everything. How someone is perceived, even long after the fact, plays a huge role in whether people want to collaborate with them. If the scandal is still fresh in people's minds, Diddy could be seen as a liability rather than an asset, and he is. It's not always about what's true. It's about what people believe. And if too many people think he's dangerous to associate with, that could limit his business opportunities severely. He is a liability at this point. If you can, name in the comment section one corporation or company who would most likely be willing to do business with him. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you say, it's about what people think. He'll come on here all day long and say, I ain't mean to do that. I got people lying on me. I got people want to bring me down. You cannot make people change the perception of you. Period, point blank. Next, the fear of association, y'all. Please make sure y'all hit that like button if you're just coming in. So for those of you who are just coming in, I'm talking about basically Diddy's image. All this controversy surrounding him is not going to mean that he's off the hook. Diddy will never be free. This is the whole bottom line. If he gets bail bonded out today, people are not going to change how they see him based on all of the information that has been exposed about him. In Diddy's case, there's also the issue of guilt by association. Why you think your boy Jay-Z, all these years, him and Diddy been on the scene everywhere. Jay-Z has not even reached out. And one of Diddy's sons have confirmed to this. If others collaborate with him, they risk being dragged into the controversy. In a world where careers can be destroyed by association with the wrong person on scandal, no one wants to take that risk. Listen, a lot of people like Diddy had to work hard to get to where he is. So has everyone else. It's not just his past actions that matter. It's how those actions are perceived. And how they might come back to bite anyone involved with him. I told y'all he's going to be the walking STD of the industry. Nobody's going to want to be nowhere near him. Nobody's going to want to make contact with him. Ain't no more freak offs. Those are over. That's done. Think about the artists, executives, and entrepreneurs in Diddy's circles. They might have their own brands to protect. Absolutely. A solid partnership with him could be great, but the risk of being associated with scandal might be far more damaging, especially if his reputation continues to deteriorate. If y'all think, put in the comment section, if y'all think people will still want to go in partnership with Diddy, press 1. If you think people will not want to go in partnership with Diddy after all this controversy, press 2. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a poll in my post on this too. So that's a big problem. He's a liability, man. There's no way. Oprah better not be seen nowhere with him. She'll lose support. Jay-Z cannot be seen with him. He'll lose support. Clive Davis cannot be seen with him. He'll lose support. Hell, Trump ain't even going to be seen with him. Nobody wants that type of smoke. People don't work too hard to get to where they at. And let me tell y'all something. If the shoe was on Diddy foot, let's say if it was Jay-Z, right? Let's flip it. Let's say if it was Jay-Z who got caught up in his scandal. Don't think for a second. Diddy would not go nowhere near Jay-Z. I promise you. So as much as we want to knock Jay-Z, I mean, I kind of understand it. Diddy would be the same way. If Diddy knew he had to protect his brand, protect his legacy for his children, he's not going to be associated with anybody either who has that much negative controversy. So basically, Diddy has to charge it to the game. And a part of him probably thought about that, like, man, it's messed up that I don't get the support system, but at the same time, I understand. Even if he thought about it for a second, he's probably come to the realization like this what comes with the business. Nobody wants to be associated. And Diddy is a smart dude. He knows that. Why you think when that accusation first came out, before we saw the video tape that went viral, he said, I'm not going to, let anybody, scandalize my name or taint my character, because even he knew the moment bad controversy gets tied to your name, it's like a whole empire. It starts to just collapse. Like, he knew that. That's why he lied and didn't want to claim what happened with him and Cassie. But once that videotape came out, he thought he could do damage control. I was in a dark place. Once everybody saw that you know how many you have a lot of women that are also in the industry too, that got their own businesses and corporations. This Me Too movement, they not tolerating no type of woman beaters. They not going for that. And to be honest, you have a lot of men out here who do not have respect for men that beat on women. They're not going for that. They don't want to be associated. He cannot take that vision out of our minds. because we all saw it. Next is the legal and financial risk. There's also the legal risk of being tied to someone who has ongoing legal battles. I'm going to tell y'all, Diddy's troubles are just beginning, bro. He's going to still have lawsuits left and right. Even if he escapes jail, over 66 civil lawsuits are still active. Each one is a time bomb financially and emotionally. You don't need to be convicted to go bankrupt from legal fees and settlements. Major brands and corporations aren't touching him right now. Ciroc, Revolt, De Leon, his golden ventures are now PR liabilities. In the business world, perception is profit, and his image is now poison. He's too much of a risk. Listen, he was losing sponsorships before he even got charged. Y'all think people going to take him up now that he's been charged? The devil is a lie. Please, go ahead and hit that like button. Even if Diddy is exonerated, the legal costs alone in terms of time, energy, and money can make him a difficult partner for anyone in the future. He's a liability, like I said, he's the industry STD. He's the industry STD. He's like the damn walking plague, right? Companies and individuals who want to work with him may think twice, worrying about that their investment could be put in jeopardy, even if they believe him and he's innocent. People already started shunning him and walking away before the feds came to arrest him. People was dropping his ass like soap in a state prison, left and right. Down to J.C. Penney got rid of all his Sean John. One of those eyewear companies, is it Eyeglass World? Is it one of them got rid of all of his glasses, his shades, his shades collection. All the Sean John shades and glasses. All the eyewear companies, they got rid of his stuff. No, if they don't want his, listen, if they don't want to carry his name, you think they're going to want to do business with him as a person? You are your name. Your name is you. He was already dropping outside the race, y'all, before the race even began. And y'all think once he free, he just going to bounce back and get back everything he lost? So y'all can cheer, clap, throw confetti, all that. It's the man is ruined. He may have won the battle, but he ain't won the war. People are going to keep talking about it. Other things I want to point out too. Documentary exposure will keep the spotlight burning. All these documentaries that people have created, more victims and receipts may come to light. Now that they see Diddy's kind of already down, people may build up the courage now to continue to keep pursuing their cases. And they got somebody right now suing him and Cassie, stating, a male escort stating that he received STD. Now, I don't know how far he'll get with it, but these days I won't be surprised because everybody money hungry. The media doesn't forget, it archives every new drop, reopens old wounds. Silence from the industry speaks volumes. Where is Diddy's friends? Notice how former collaborators are distancing themselves. The industry has turned cold because no one wants to be next to a sinking ship. When the applause fades, so does the protection. Power can't survive isolation. His whole entourage is gone. But we will continue. let's look into some more. Let's look into some more elements, right? Please make sure y'all hit that like button. By the way, anything I say in this content is alleged and based off of my own opinion. Nothing I state is actual factual. All of this is just based off of my own perception of what I believe or what I assume is going to be the backlash of Diddy's downfall. This is my disclaimer. Please hit that like button. Will he find redemption in business? The harsh truth is that even if Diddy is eventually cleared of all charges, the road to regaining trust and rebuilding his empire will be extremely difficult. In today's world where scandals become viral and social media amplifies every detail, his image might forever be intertwined with the controversy. Power dies once your hidden demons are exposed. I'm going to say that again. Power dies once your hidden demons are exposed. The mystique of someone like Diddy, the untouchable mogul with the cool factor, starts to dissipate. He might still have money, but he might not have the same influence or the same loyal circle of people ready to stand by him. Like I said in part 1, all the fans and bloggers who support him, we are small fries. We are not the support he needs. He needs supports from the big dogs like Jay-Z. You know, he needs support from the big dogs like Clive Davis. He needs the top dogs to stand for him. Not no YouTube vloggers. Not no fans. I mean, it's great that y'all still support him, but at the same time, y'all support don't hold no weight. He need the heavy hitters to support him, and the heavy hitters, they not doing that because they stand way more to lose. So all of you, you know, low value content creators with your 300,000 views and all of that, listen, you can kick for Diddy all you want. Your support is not enough to help him to redeem his character. He need the heavy hitters, and they not going there because they stand a lot to lose. Can he rebuild? Is that the question? Do y'all think Diddy can rebuild? Press 1 if you think Diddy can rebuild. Press 2 if you think Diddy will never be able to rebuild. Please make sure you hit the like button if you're just coming in. Shout out to all of my I can't even think. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out, you know, to those of you with the wrenches holding it down for me. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Will he be able to redeem himself? That said, there are examples of people in similar positions, you know, other celebrities or business moguls who have faced major scandals, who have managed to rebuild their lives and careers, albeit with a completely different public image. But in most cases, but in those cases, it often requires a massive re-innovation. They need to show growth, transparency, and a willingness to confront their demons head on in a way that resonates with the public. However, the process of redemption is long, and Diddy may have reached a point where rebuilding is simply too complicated and too risky. The scars may be too deep for people to ever fully trust him the way they once did. So my question is, do y'all think there's any scenario where Diddy could recover from this? Or do you feel like this legacy is permanently stained? Or maybe even his willingness to recover might be affected by everything that's come to light. Let me tell y'all something. Diddy already had a lot of people who couldn't stand him before the controversy. And this is the thing. Let's say if it was, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, let's say if he had 300 million fans, supporters. Let's say I had 300 million supporters. This controversy probably brought it down to 100 million. And I know y'all, because we're looking from the bottom, that's still a lot of support. No, one thing about celebrities are addicted to approval. They are addicted to numbers. They are addicted to admiration. That's why a lot of them don't want to retire and leave the music, don't want to stop doing tours, because they're afraid that once they stop doing tours, their numbers are going to drop, they're going to lose their supporters. So to stay relevant, they be on tour after tour after tour after tour, or they're constantly in the spotlight, because it's not about the money for them. Most of the cases where it is about the money, but in many instances it's more about the admiration. A lot of celebrities are obsessed with admiration. They're used to having people look up to them. They're used to having people worship them and praise them. They are used to people considering them or perceiving them as their savior. And the moment people start, turning away from that, no longer showing that support, no longer giving that same energy of admiration that the celebrities are used to getting, it can definitely affect their worth in a sense. These celebrities don't like to be forgotten about. They done got addicted to that. They done got addicted to approval. They done got addicted to admiration. They done got addicted to people worshiping them. And one thing celebrities cannot handle is no longer being worshipped. So, I think about O.J. Simpson, right? I think about him and how he never got back to what he was, even though he was acquitted of all those charges. So, let's just kind of do a little compare and contrast, right? Because I don't know why, but I thought about O.J. Simpson. I thought about that for Diddy, right? Okay, so O.J. Simpson is one of the most well-known examples of someone whose life and career were permanently changed by a highly publicized scandal, despite his initial success and fame. It shows just how fragile a reputation can be once it's tainted by scandal, no matter the outcome in court. That's the part I'm trying to get y'all woke to, okay? Again, he's won the battle, but he's up against a whole army. Diddy has yet to win the war. Alright, so let's talk about AJ just a little bit. We're going to do a little OJ Simpson. We're going to do a little comparison, right? OJ was acquitted in 95, but the public's perception of him was never the same. People never fully separated that man from the scandal, regardless of the legal result. The trial itself, whether people think he was guilty or innocent, became the defining moment of his career. In Diddy's case, even if he's legally cleared, the scandal itself will likely define him moving forward. Public opinion has already formed, and in today's culture of cancellation, it's hard to shake off a tarnished image, even if there's no solid proof of wrongdoing. Now let's talk about brand. Okay, so for OJ, before the trial, OJ Simpson was a beloved football hero, a spokesperson, and a rising star in Hollywood. After the scandal, even though he remained a recognizable name, his brand was forever tainted. Sponsors pulled away, and the lucrative endorsements and acting roles dried up. Yes, OJ Simpson was not found guilty, but the public perception still held him accountable and liable for the death of his former wife, Nicole Simpson. Nobody could not get past him looking like a murderer, even though the court said, you're not guilty, you're not a murderer. That's what the court said. Legally, he was not considered a murderer, but the world still perceived him as a murderer. He couldn't do anything to change that. Nobody wanted to endorse him. Nobody wanted to be associated with him. Like I said, image is everything. Even though the courts found him not guilty. Diddy built his brand on the image of power, control, and success. He's not just a musician, he's a mogul. His name is synonymous with wealth, influence, and status. Once that image is shattered by public scandal, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. People won't forget the ugly side of the story, and his name could become more toxic than marketable. Why do you think people saying no Diddy? Or they'll say the diddlers. His name is already being associated or being rephrased for the wrong things, not because people see him as this music mogul. The next thing was the fallout from betrayal and public scrutiny. O.J. Simpson's personal relationships suffered too. His own family dynamics shifted, especially when his children and his relationship with former friends and teammates. Even years after the trial, the emotional and psychological toll was profound. And y'all notice how significantly O.J. deteriorated. He's definitely started looking, and he started aging rapidly. Nobody just never looked at him the same, right? For Diddy, the exposure of betrayal from people who he thought were close to him will weigh heavily. Friends, business partners, collaborators. Once those bonds are fractured, the trust needed to succeed in business can be impossible to regain. Diddy may never be able to rebuild those relationships in the same way again, especially in a world that is so quick to judge. And as much as we like to say we shouldn't judge, come on, that's all a part of living. You're going to always be judged. Period. Point blank. The redemption myth. Let's talk about that. After his acquittal, O.J. did try to re-enter the public sphere. He appeared on television, participated in interviews, and even wrote a book, but he was never able to recapture his previous status. Public sentiment had shifted, and his efforts felt more like self-preservation than genuine redemption. O.J. was still trying to resuscitate his career. He was still trying to hold on to whatever little bit of success he had left, and nevertheless, he didn't get anywhere. For Diddy, even if he tries to reinvent himself or create a comeback narrative, it might be perceived as just damage control. Public figures often have a hard time separating genuine remorse or change from the perception of self-interest, and people might see his efforts as insincere or just an attempt to save face. In other words, people are still not going to believe, even if he makes all the attempts to really change himself, to better himself. A lot of people at this point is going to feel like it's not genuine, it's not authentic, and he's basically trying to save face. Nobody's going to believe it's real, because remember, he lied to us before and made us think he wasn't even capable of being that kind of person, because in his mind, he just knew he paid his way out of that tape ever being exposed. And I'm sure he was just as shocked as we were when that tape, resurfaced. So there's definitely like a whole lot. Let's look at some other roads Diddy may travel that may be similar to O.J. Simpson. Emotional and psychological impact. The emotional toll of being publicly exposed and having your character questioned can be profound. Diddy may be able to bounce back in terms of finances or minor business deals, but psychologically he may be scarred in ways that limit his desire or ability to maintain the same public persona. People around him may be more hesitant to engage, and he may never really feel safe in any relationship or partnership again. I told y'all, all this time Diddy been sitting in jail, he had a whole lot of time to think about stuff. Clearly, he couldn't drink the denial away. He couldn't smoke. You don't have access to none of that stuff in jail. So he really had to face and really had to absorb the reality of people seeing him different. And let me tell you something. Diddy's ego is everything to him. Diddy is proud of his ego. Diddy has been proud of, all of what he has become. And I believe underneath all that ego and arrogance, I believe there's a very sensitive guy who really, really tries to act like he's not bothered by what people think about him. I think it's the complete opposite. I think Diddy is really, really underneath all of that ego. He's a little sensitive boy that wants to be loved, wants to be respected, wants people to admire. But the problem is, once he became successful, he let his ego get the best of him. And as people say, money just enhances your bad quality. If you are already arrogant broke, you're going to be even more arrogant when you're rich. If you was already attention seeking when you was broke, you're going to become even more attention seeking when you were rich. If you already had sexual demons when you was broke, you definitely going to have them once you're rich. All of it. I just think his success, the very thing he worked hard for, ended up being the reason for the demise of his career. Let's talk about this too, the legacy question. OJ's legacy, for better or worse, will always be remembered for the murder trial, not his football career. He went from a beloved sports icon to a symbol of scandal. Even with his accomplishments in football, the overarching narrative of his life became defined by the trial and its aftermath. Nobody saw OJ Simpson as the football player, the former football player, the former icon, the sports icon. Instead, he became seen as the walking scandal symbol. To be honest, every time I saw O.J. Simpson, I never thought about his career anymore. I forgot he was even a football player. I just remembered him, me personally. I can't speak for everybody else. Whenever I saw O.J., I just always thought about that controversy that surrounded him. Is it just me? Or when O.J. Simpson, let me ask y'all in the chat, when O.J. Simpson scandal came out, did y'all still see him as that football player? I didn't. I just remember seeing him as the person who got off for murdering his wife. And that Ford Bronco, whatever he was driving, that's all I remembered. I never even looked at his career. I forgot all about his career. Now the same can happen to Diddy. His accomplishments in music, fashion, business, and media may be overshadowed by the scandal. It's hard to imagine that his career can move forward with this dark cloud lingering over him. Y'all know and I know nobody's not going to look at Diddy the same. It's just not going to happen. Okay? The culture of counseling celebrities, and y'all know we are in counsel culture. If you say anything about gays, you'll get counseled. If you say anything wrong about children, somebody's kids, you'll get counseled. Counsel culture is at an all-time high, right? The difference now compared to when OJ was in the public eye is that we live in a culture that's quick to counsel people over controversies. With social media amplifying every misstep, scandal sticks with you for longer. People who might have once supported Diddy might choose to distance themselves entirely. Shit, we already seeing that. Where is Jay-Z? Jay-Z, your boy, he about to have his own problems. Just putting y'all up on game. The judge did order for his alleged son Ramir to get the paternity test. So the judge is honoring for Jay-Z to take the paternity test because Jay-Z has been dodging not having an answer to this young man's request for paternity test. But my thing is this: Jay-Z is also an industry devil. He's going to get those paternity test results rigged somehow. I don't trust him. He's been dodging not having an answer to this young man. He's been dodging, not even acknowledging it. So I still believe Jay-Z is going to pull something slick unless the good Lord himself blocks him from being able to do it. But so his boy Jay-Z got his own problems. That's probably why Jay-Z ain't going nowhere near him, because Jay-Z already about to have his own he about to have his own doo-doo that he got to deal with. But anyway, we already see that people are already backing up. Like OJ Diddy, like OJ Diddy might never return to the level of influence, respect, or business success he had before the scandal. Even if the legal outcome clears his name, the emotional, social, and professional consequences will likely continue to affect him for the rest of his life. The exposure of his demons means that people will always associate him with the controversy. And unfortunately, that tends to stick far longer than the good parts of someone's legacy. And that's the God's honest truth. One bad mistake can make people overlook all of your accomplishments. It's a tragic reality that sometimes even the court clears someone of criminal wrongdoing. The court of public opinion is far harder to win. So, honestly, do any of you think Diddy will try to salvage any aspect of his career going forward? Or do you feel like he's already at a point of no return? What do y'all think? I personally think if he were to get bond, if he somehow were to wiggle himself out of it, because we're in a world where money is more important than morals, so I don't trust the system, I don't trust the judges, I don't trust no one. But if for whatever miraculous miracle he's able to leave, be released, I think he will call it out and move to another country. I believe he's going to feel like the whole United States has failed him, especially the justice system. It's an interesting angle, and honestly, it wouldn't be all that surprising if Diddy felt like he's being betrayed or failed by the system in some way. Given the nature of his fame and power, he's likely always seen himself as above the average person. So being caught up in a scandal that seems beyond his control must feel like a major loss of power. If he were to cower out and retreat to another country, it would all make sense, you know. The reason why I say he might go to another country is because Diddy has spent decades at the top of the entertainment world. The idea of suddenly being ostracized, facing public scrutiny, and losing control of his brand could feel unbearable. Moving to a place where he's not as well known or under constant media surveillance might give him some peace of mind. He could enjoy, a quieter life away from the constant flash bulbs and paparazzi. In a way, retreating might feel like regaining control over his own narrative. It's one thing, to face your problems head on in your own country, but it's a different kind of escape to go somewhere where the media doesn't have the same reach, Also, the avoidance of the system. If he feels that the American justice system failed him, whether or not he's actually guilty, moving to another country might be his way of saying, I'm done with this. He could be frustrated with not only the legal process, but also the way society judges people like him, especially when someone of his status is caught up in controversy. Countries where the legal system is less strict or the media is less pervasive might seem like an attractive option for someone looking to distance themselves from the whole situation. It's essentially an attempt to avoid the consequences, or at least the ongoing drama. Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons is a prime example. He got the hell up out of the United States. Once too many people start coming for him and lawsuits left and right, he jumped ship. Also, in a sense, relocating, Diddy relocating to another country could represent an attempt to reinvent himself without the baggage of his past. In many ways, when you're a person like Diddy, your identity and status are wrapped up in your legacy, which right now is being heavily scrutinized. If he moves away, he could escape the public's constant reminders of who he used to be, and maybe even build a new life that's free of the pressures he faces in the United States. But here's the thing. Reinventing yourself in a foreign country is tough. You can't escape your past, and unless you live in a bubble, your reputation follows you in one way or another. People who knew you once, even aboard, are going to remember the past. He can move to an exotic location, but the Americas failed him. Mentality might follow him. Absolutely. And also, Diddy has always been a global figure, you know what I'm saying, with businesses, investments, and connections outside of the United States. If he starts to believe that his success and power were achieved in a system that ultimately betrayed him, moving aboard may seem like a rejection of the very system that gave him his wealth and status. He might view it as a personal protest, like saying, if you want to tear me down, I'll leave and let you have your own version of the story. The sense of disillusionment could be compounded by the way the American public tends to build you up just to tear you down. Diddy, like many public figures, has probably felt the love and hate from American culture. The up and down cycle of praise and condemnation might be too much for him to handle if he feels that it's more about the public skeptical than his real contributions. Absolutely. While it may seem like running away, there's a psychological side to it too. In some ways, moving could be about self-preservation rather than cowardice. Facing the world after you've been exposed is incredibly hard. Especially when you have the resources to disappear if you want to, right? It's also worth noting that running away doesn't always mean someone is defeated. Sometimes it's just it could be a sign of strategic retreat, where they choose to let the dust settle, wait for the drama to die down, and eventually come back when things have cooled. It could be his way of protecting his peace, something that's difficult for a public figure to do in a place like America, where the media never lets you forget your mistakes. So you know, I got a part 3 coming up, y'all. Next, we're going to talk about other issues, such as what his kids are going to face. That's going to be my last segment of the Diddy, the industry's devil. We're going to talk about what his children are going to face, what they're going to have to endure. Because what a lot of people don't understand, you know, especially when you're a brand and your legacy, the choices that you make, and not only affects you, but it affects everyone who depends on you. Diddy's children, unfortunately, are going to be tainted by their father's character. And as he continues to age, you know, basically because Diddy has lived his life and he has pretty much done just about everything he wanted to do. The problem is his kids are just starting theirs, and the world's not going to let him live it down. And hopefully his children don't get involved in any illegal activities. They're already trying to come for Christian. For Justin, they already got a couple of people coming at them saying that, accusing them of doing similar things that their father has done, allegedly. So if they can't get him, if the masses can't really get Diddy, they're going to go for his children. And that's going to suck, because I don't think his children are going to want to move to a whole nother country. They're going to want to be here. They're young. This is where their friends are. This is where, you know, where they're used to getting their stardom from their dad. I don't think they have the maturity or the mindset to want to go to another country. So his children, we're going to definitely talk about that, how they're going to be affected. How is the legacy that their father is building for them, how's that going to follow them? We've seen this happen. What Bernie Madoff, we saw what happened with him when he got caught up in that scandal, when his sons ended up committing suicide. He's Ernie Madoff. Yeah, is it Ernie Madoff? Let me look it up, because I don't want to tell y'all the wrong name. But I remember with him how his controversy basically made his family suffer. After he ripped millions of people off with those shady investments, basically it made a lot of people, like, you know, turn on his family. It made a lot of people turn on his family, to the point to one of his sons couldn't handle it. You know, nobody wanted to give his wife even an apartment. Nobody wanted to even have no association with him. And his children suffered behind that, you know. And I think that's going to be a whole other problem within itself. Madoff, yeah. Bernie Madoff. Yeah, Bernie Madoff. He was the, look him up right quick. Yeah, he died 2021. But he was an American financial criminal and financer who was the mastermind behind the largest known Ponzi scheme in history. And yeah, he ended up going to prison, and his children was left to suffer, and they couldn't handle the scandal behind their father's, you know, Ponzi scheme and how it affected them. I mean, they became like the walking STDs. Nobody wanted to do business with them. Nobody wanted to affiliate with them. And like I said, one of his sons couldn't handle it. He ended up taking his own life, you know. So we don't know how Diddy's children are going to be psychologically damaged behind this, but we are definitely going to talk about that. We're going to save that for part 3. Alright, so that should wrap my series up. Once I do part 3, then I'll go into my usual content. So anyway, y'all, leave y'all comment, let me know what y'all think. Please make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm going to leave a poll on both community tabs. Make sure y'all check them out and put in your vote. Give me your answer so I can have an idea as to what y'all mentally think about this as well. Anyway, y'all be blessed. I'll talk to y'all soon. It's your Demon Knowledge Lady Mocha signing off, and y'all have a wonderful day. Shout out to Mocha's Cafe de Paris subscribers and Mocha's Ladies Lounge subscribers as well. Love you all. Take care.